Hello, 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 hello. It's one and only singing, dancing DJ, Sandy K. Except I'm not dancing, I'm sitting. Yesterday was a beautiful day. Well, it's kind of good and bad. I mean, I don't think I'll ever have a day that's just normal and good or normal and, well, we, let's just say, yesterday, my daughter has been with this guy, Mark Atkins, for 17 years. And it's taken him 17 years to convince her to marry him. So yesterday they got married and tied the knot. First thing he did was turn to me and say, "She's going to be harder on you now than she was, 'cause now I'm her husband." And then he giggles. So my daughter is very defensive of Mark, and she's my daughter, and I love her, and I have her concern, and she's an adult and grown woman with. I'm a great grandma, for God's sake, So, but I love her so much, and I don't want her to be unhappy, and so I would give him a hard time and say, you've been married this many times. What makes you think this is going to work? Blah blah blah. And hey, Al, Sandy, talk to my ex-wives. Al, think the world of me. Well, I don't talk to my ex-husband hardly. He didn't do much for his kids. Then he marries a woman named Sandra and shows up now at everything. I go, well, but guess what? I'm the one on the dance floor. I'm dancing alone, but I'm on the dance floor. People come out and dance with me, my family, my grandson, and so on and so forth. It was a beautiful ceremony. They had it in their house, and his daughters have been so good to Angel, and they get along with her, and she gets along with them, and they do an awesome job keeping that house nice for Mark. And his ex-wife was there, Hannah, and I went up to her and I hugged her and I said, "Hannah," I just looked at her, I said, "I'm sorry." And she goes, "Honey," she said, "I'm glad Angel's happy with him and he's happy with her. I'm just glad I'm not picking up his socks anymore." I said, "Mm-hmm." He does things that annoy me too, but I didn't say nothing about it. I won't now because she's married to him. She'll kick me out of the house if I say something to him now. Well, he laughed and he looked at me and he said, You better be nice to me now. I'm married to her." This is going to be interesting to see how this turns out. Okay, so I left the wedding, and I hadn't danced in so long, and I needed to get some exercise. I did. So I stopped off at the Electric Palm, and I danced there, and then somebody hauled off and knocked some drink out of somebody's hand, and it went all over him, and then this other guy got mad because he said something to the person that knocked the drink out of his hand, and then they looked like they was going to get the fight. So I went up to the waitress and I said, "Sweetie, darling, come check me out." I said, "Let me cash out and pay you and get out of here." I said, "It's about to be a fight here, and I don't like to be around fights." So I left there. I said, well, I still wasn't ready to come home. I knew Angel and nobody was here because she's off with Mark, and Ayla wasn't here yet. And so I was, I drove by Jay's Sports Lounge in Stafford, and they had a DJ on Fridays, and it don't cost well, it didn't cost nothing to get in, but now when it's Fridays and they got a DJ, it costs $10 to get in. So, it's iffy. Some DJs don't charge, some do. But I always tip the DJs anyway, So I went in there and I danced and I tipped the DJ and then I left. And when I came outside, there was a car parked beside me and it pulled out and left. So there was nothing beside me. I start pulling out to back out, and all of a sudden, crunch. I said, "Lord of mercy, what did I do? Back into some snow that ain't been cleared off?" I get out of my car and see what I backed into. It was another car. She wasn't happy. She gets mad, boy. She gets out of that car and she's mad at a hornet. You hit my car. I go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. I didn't see her. I don't know what happened. How could I know what happened when I didn't see her? I didn't see what happened. I just heard a crunch and got out, and it was her. And she was mad, and I started apologizing immediately. And a whole bunch of women come out there, and man, they's going to beat my ass for sure. I thought, bad word, I'm sorry. They's going to beat me for sure, I felt like. So I said, well, I apologized to her because I honestly didn't see the girl. I didn't see her. And so I finally calmed her down and said, look, I have insurance. You take my insurance. I didn't get her name. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't get her name. I didn't take a picture of her car, nothing. I mean, what was I thinking? I called my daughter. She would have walked me right through it, but she didn't answer her phone. She's busy with her honeymoon husband, so that's my days. And my days go like that almost every day. Well, only time it don't go like that is if I don't get out of the house. And I stay right here. Right here. Don't get out of the house. Don't go nowhere. Nothing might not happen to me. But, you know, it is. That's life. You got to take it and you got to laugh about it. Otherwise, you cry your eyes out. Now, I don't know what the insurance company's going to do. I don't know what she's going to do. I don't even know her name or how to get in touch with her to say, what do you want to do about this car? My car is hurt too. But I don't know. I'll wait till my daughter comes home because I'm on her insurance and see what she says. She going to be mad at me. So next year, since my daughter got married, I'm going to live with my son. Well, he ain't prepared for me to live with him yet. You know, he's not used to me being around him as an adult as much as my daughter is, because I babysit her children a lot, so I spent more time with her. Well, I wasn't allowed to babysit his children. I would have babysat them. I only allowed to babysit them maybe once or twice. And I love his children, but they don't care nothing about me. They can't handle this hillbilly. You know, the stories I tell you. They just can't handle me, I think. But I love them, and I'm there for them if they need me. But my son was there with his better half, as he called her. She said her name was Sarah, but he said her name was Sada. Now, I don't know. I said, well, which one you want me to call you? Jimmy says Sada. I said, okay, Sada. Is it okay, Sada? Yeah, it's okay. She's a very nice lady, though. Very nice. I think she's a school counselor, so she's a very nice woman. And I told her, I said, I plan on moving in with Jimmy next year. Is that going to be a problem with you? She said, no. She thought kids ought to help their parents out. So I said, okay, that's cool. So Jimmy takes her dancing down to D.C. I said, can I go dancing too? No, Mom, you can't go out with me and my date dancing. He looked at me and he said, Mom, you have a problem with your kids being married, don't you? I do, because I don't want them getting hurt. And I know how marriages are, man. I went through 2 of them. Let me tell you, I can't handle them. I'm done. Don't think there's going to be no third time charm for me. But Angel might be Mark's third time charm. And Mark's older than Angel, so, you know, maybe she'll get a third time. I don't know. But he's good to her, though. He's good to her. He ain't never lifted a hand or act like he's going to hit her or anything. So I have no reason to believe he'll hurt her. He's very good to her. He spoils her rotten. I mean, every time he comes from some anywhere, business trip or whatever, he's bringing her clothes and gifts. Although, that makes me kind of wonder, too. My sister has a husband that beat on her and ran around with her. But Mark don't beat on Angel, but her husband ran around on her, and every time he'd go out and run around on her, he'd come home with a little old knick-knack. And then he'd bitch at her for not cleaning the dust off them little old knick-knacks he bought her. Pulled a gun on me, that man did. You know what I told him? You go ahead and pull that trigger if you think you can. Could be you might have a heart attack before you pull the trigger, or... But you don't scare me pulling that gun at me. You think that scares me? It don't scare me. I'm been shot. You better make sure I'm dead. You better hit me right here, mister. Right here. Because if you don't hit me right here and I ain't dead, I'm going to take every damn dime you got. I'll take your house. I'll take your car. I'll take everything. Because I don't fight with violence and guns, mister. I fight with the law and God. That's what I fight with. That's right. Anyways, I said, anyways, my sister might remember them beatings you gave her and throw that big old arm of hers up her and knock that gun up and blow your own brains out. Now, how'd you like that? My sister got up and told him to take that gun back there in her and put it away. And guess what? That gun is not registered. That gun was made to kill me. I don't know who made it, but I suspect who made it. I'm going to check into that stuff too. And if it is who I suspect who made it, I'm coming for you. Or rather, ATF's coming for you. Or DEA, I don't know. Somebody's coming for you. Although with whoever we got in the White House right now, I don't think anybody's coming for anybody. There ain't no justice in the world. Well, I went dancing and I ran into some fans of mine. But they liked my dancing, so they wanted to know when they found out I had a YouTube channel. They wanted to know if I was dancing on my YouTube channel. So I guess I'm going to have to get somebody to follow me out somewhere and film me dancing so I can put it on my YouTube channel. And then you'll have me dancing. Because now I go to town with my dancing now. I love to dance. And I have a hat, a fedora hat that I wear. And I work my hat. I make people laugh with my hat. Because my hat ain't happy unless my hat's dancing too. So it works. I work my hat, let it get some fun in there and dance too. So that was my day yesterday. So now I'm not only a great grandma, my daughter got married again. So now I got a new son-in-law. I've got 2 grandsons-in-laws. And I have 2 awesome children. I do. My children, I don't know what I'd have done if I didn't have them with me. And they kept me in line. They don't let me buy with nothing. I try to get 2 birthdays out of them because my grandma was a midwife. And my birthday, or so the Bible said, was October 1st. But so the birth certificate said November 1st. So I'm confused. So then I said, well, why don't I just get 2 birthdays? No, you can't have 2 birthdays. I tried, what can I say? Then I found out when I went to get my passport so I could travel and go to Europe. My daughter flew me over to Germany when she's stationed over there, and I got to travel Europe for a little bit. That was awesome. I drove on Autobahn. I don't want to drive on that Autobahn. That blame. I was driving 120 and then go, shh, what was that, Angel? That was that Lamborghini, Mom. Mom, if you go under 100, you get a ticket. I say, what? You mean I have to drive over 100 all times or I will get a ticket? Oh, my God. But the Autobahn, it ain't curvy like these mountain roads around here. I mean, it's huge and it's mountains, but the roads are like awesome. Autobahn is. And they got, oh, man, I like their bathroom. So they got heated seats. And you don't have to flush. It flushes itself. I go, man, it is nice to sit down on a heated seat. Especially if you have to do number 2. Yep. So that was something. I got too awesome because I love my kids more than anything in the world. I do. And they told me that, we had a rough life. They didn't have an easy life with me. They didn't. It ain't that I beat on them. I never beat them, ever. I would not beat my kids. I would have killed somebody if they touched my kids. I never beat them. I would correct them. I would correct them, and I would, but as far as beating on them, mistreating them, I did not. I did not. And they told me the one thing that they always knew, which is very, very, in my opinion, important, is that they knew that I loved them unconditionally and that I loved them for who they are. I didn't try to make them who I wanted them to be. A lot of parents want to take their children and make them who they want them to be. Our children are never who we want them to be. If I had I'd have my son as president instead of the one that is. It'd be a better one, but he won't run. But I love my children, and they have been good to me. They have been, and they are still good to me. They never beat on me or try to push me around, you know. I mean, they try to get by with stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I was on the air. I was a DJ. How about that? I was the one and only singing, dancing DJ Sandy K, coming at you right here from WPWC radio station, Dumfries Triangle, Quantico, Virginia. That was me. And I was on the air when Saddam Hussein declared war on us. And I told the people, let's don't treat these military like Vietnam veterans were treated by some people. Because they didn't, Vietnam veterans were forced to go. They weren't volunteer. We have volunteer military now. Although with this guy running the military and trying to put them in danger, I doubt if anybody wanted to join the military now. I wouldn't advise anybody to. Not until this country gets straightened out a little bit, I wouldn't. But that's another story for another day, and I'm shutting up right now because it is what? 16. Ooh, Lordy, anybody gonna listen to me for 16 minutes? Probably not. But I want to get my podcast back up and running, but be like a radio show. I'll play music, and then I'll make comments, and I'll play some more music, and then I'll make comments, and I'll invite new musicians if they want to come and have an exposure to their music. I'll be glad to have them on, you know. But I'm going to get that started. I'm going to work on it this year, and it'll be up and running by next year, I hope. I never dreamed growing up in the mountains and coming from where I come from that I'd ever get an education, much less than get a job on the radio and open a show with a song I wrote and paid people to put music to, because I can't play music. I hear it, you know, and I can hear it when they're playing and they're not playing what I hear, but I don't know how to tell them. I never took music lessons, so I don't know how to tell them, well, that's not the note that you're playing, but this is the note I'm singing, but you ain't playing that note, and they get mad at you. Lord have mercy, they get mad at you, most of them. But now, Gatman Kushner, he has a recording studio, and I've worked with him a couple times. He's a good guy. He's honorable, very honorable. If you have any recording issues and you live in Maryland around where he lives, you go by and see him. He's real good what he does. But he was putting music to a song I wrote. And he said, Sandy, I can't play that note. And I said to him, I said, well, what's a note? Why can't you play it? I don't know what a note is. Because a note is a sound that repeats itself, you know, at the same note. And that's what I was doing, but he couldn't play that note. And I got kind of frustrated, and I said, well, look, Dad, blame it, can't. If you can't play the note, stop the music, let me sing the note, and then start the music back up. It's done in country music all the time. It is. You know, I mean, there are notes that are meant not to have a music strummed to or something. I believe those notes are just for the angels in heaven and God alone. That's what I believe, but that's what I believe. I don't believe like everybody else. And I don't tell them to believe like me. You got to live your life and go by your pathway in life, not by mine. I can't judge you for what you do, and you can't judge me for what I do, because you ain't walked in my path and I ain't walked in yours. So I try to accept people as they are, you know, and mostly I get along with most people. But when I speak the truth, people don't like it, and they do want to fight with me. But now when I do my podcast and my radio shows up and running, I won't lie to you intentionally. I might lie to you and not know I'm lying to you because somebody told me something that I believed or something like that. But I'll tell you, this is what I heard. Blah, 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 blah. Now, if I tell you I saw something and I saw it, and I say I saw it, I saw it. And there's some strange things I've seen. Now, I went to counseling, and they said they don't believe in ghosts. I said, well, you ain't never going to see a ghost because you don't believe. You don't see things you don't believe. If you don't believe in God, you ain't never going to see God. If you don't believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ and follow those teachings, you ain't never going to feel his power. You ain't. But if you do, you will. I do. Anyways, that's just that. I've been rambling again. This is the one and only singing dancing DJ Cindy K. Checking out on this day after my daughter's wedding. And this day before this big storm comes and hits us again. We just got over one big snowstorm. So I say to everybody, peace. Always love. Always harmony. Always. I love people who could sing harmony. I wish I could. Peace.